Hit up Rose NBA on Twitter. If you need any sort of grind, he will be the man for you. Domination, Spotlight Sims, MyTeam Unlimited, and even more. The link to his Twitter will be down below in the description. Yo, what is good, yo? It's your boy Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, we are going to be building my $250,000 squad. If the tournament was today. So if the tournament was today, what is the squad that I would go out there with? Now, before we dive into it any further, this squad is mainly for current gen, I would say, but we're going to talk about, especially with the backup small forward, what that would look like if we were on next gen specifically, and those types of things. Now, before we dive any deeper into this video today, I do want to say that this is probably going to be the last 250k squad builder that we do indeed do. And when I say 250k, it's not 250k empty. It's if the 250,000 my team tournament was today. This is the squad that I would be using. It's probably gonna be the last one, considering obviously content is dying down towards the end of the year. Before we dive any deeper, if you are new to my channel and have not yet, please consider smashing that subscribe button. We're on the road to 80,000 subscribers. So we're going to start off with the point guard position. And I mean, this one is one of the most obvious selections to me. And point guard Invincible Ben Simmons. Now, here's the thing for Ben Simmons that I'm a big fan of is he's 6'10". And whether you like offense, whether you like defense, whether you like 3-hunting, whether you like rim running, he is the best all-around point guard in the game. Now, are there point guards that some people might prefer? Absolutely, to Ben Simmons. But if you're just looking for an all-around point guard, can defend, can play offense, can really do a little bit of everything, Ben Simmons can give you that. Obviously, for me, he's my favorite point guard just because of the contact dunk animations he gets. So for most people, he's probably the best point guard in the game just because like the contact animations he gets. But his release is so underrated. If you're looking at a release that a lot of people agree with, it's Ben Simmons. And when you're playing, you know, for that much amount of money, like $250,000, you need to have players you are super comfortable with, and Ben Simmons is at the forefront of that. Now, at shooting guard, we're gonna go with out of position Andre Kirilenko at the shooting guard position. Now, a lot of people would run AK at the backup point guard possibly, but for me, I love AK at the shooting guard. He doesn't really have to do much outside of just be the secondary ball handler and be my best defensive player. So if I'm up against the Ben Simmons, I'd probably put AK on the primary ball handler and just live with him, just because AK's defensive animations are next to none. I shouldn't say his defensive animations are specifically next to none. Like Kawhi has great defensive animations, Dwayne Wade, but here's the thing for Andre Kirilenko. He's 6'9", 235 pounds and has those defensive animations. So just because of like his length and versatility, I think that's what makes AK a decent step above the other guys. Combine that with his cheesy base 98 release, and you're looking at, in my opinion, at least a top 2 shooting guard in the game. My backup shooting guard is another guy I'm a big fan of, but he's definitely a top 2 shooting guard in the game, in my opinion. At the small forward position, there's no question who goes here. Now, I will say this. I do not use Bobo enough on my no money spent squad account when I do play with him. Now, part of the reason is he's a small forward. Obviously, I like his release, so he's gonna knock down wide open shots, and he's just gonna be there on the court. I should honestly use Bobo more, and that's one thing that I need to do a better job of. But here's the thing: now that we got Ben Simmons, now that we got AK, now that we got Yao and Taco, it's just hard finding any sort of rhythm with Bobo. It just is, because I mean, he doesn't have point guard eligibility, so he's not gonna bring the ball up the court. And if you're on next gen, I feel like it's a lot easier to use him, but on current gen specifically, he's just kind of a 3-and-D guy. I hate to say that, but that's kind of his role for me. Obviously, he can do so much more, but for me, that's what he really does. Now, at the power forward position, I'm not going to be a cheese ball that's going to run Yao and Taco together. Now, if I'm on current gen, I'd still probably lean GOAT Kareem. I just would probably, just because he comes with all those extra Hall of Famers. Now, it's going to be interesting on current gen just because he does have the Hall of Fame steady. Next gen, he has blinders, and next gen, he can move way better. So it's no question that GOAT Kareem is who is a better all-around player between both gens. Next gen wise, the dude's fantastic. I mean, just movement, release, blinders, like there's not anything more you could ask for. Current gen, still, the dude is fantastic. My favorite power forward or player to play at the power forward position in the game right now is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and really what it comes down to more than anything is his defense. His defense is absolutely immaculate, and I'm a big fan of his release as well. So if you combine the defense to how he plays on offense, attacking the rim with his burst animation, as well as his release. I mean, there's just not much more you could want. It really comes down to the defense, though, for me and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Defensively, one of the best in the game. Not my center position, no surprise here. Invincible Taco Fall. For a while, I went back and forth on Taco, Yao, who is the better player. Yao is better on offense. I'm not going to sit here and disagree with that. But defensively, Yao does not get near the blocks, near the animations that Taco Fall does. And if you guys know anything about me, you know that I love defense more than offense. So when it comes down to who I like more between all the 7'5" giants, I think it's Taco, a gap, Yao, and then another gap. That's what I personally would say. But Taco is just absolutely fantastic. He has the same release. I think it's jump shot 47 as a guy like Thon Maker, as a guy like Joel Embiid. It is just absolutely fantastic. Yes, the lack of hot spots are sometimes a problem, but he's still fantastic. If I was to go into playing like a big tournament for a lot of money today, no doubt he would be my starting center. So this is the starting lineup that I would run with. Obviously, for me, the guys that would play the majority of the game are Bull and Taco Fall. Those are the two guys that are probably playing at least 15 minutes for me. The rest of the guys, I don't think there's that much of a difference between their starters and bench unit. Now, I'm going to start the bench off at the point guard position with two options. If I'm on current gen, I'm going Cade Cunningham. Now, the next guy I'm going to throw at the end of the bench, I'm going to talk about him as at a different position as well, is the GOAT Brown. If you're on next gen and want to run GOAT Brown, I don't blame you. Or if you're on current gen and still want to use GOAT Brown because he gets better animations and you're not necessarily a 300, I'm fine with that as well. It really depends whether you prefer base 98, whether you prefer the XM base, and that's really what it comes down to. For me, probably right now, I'm better with Cade Cunningham, but that's not to sit here and say that Cade Cunningham is no question better than LeBron James. I think those two are super close when it comes down to it. But for me, Cade Cunningham is the guy I plug in. Now, he is I'm inconsistent with him. I'm not going to say he's inconsistent for me. I'm just inconsistent with base 98 in general. We're going to talk about another guy like that at the small forward position. It's just the way it is. But running the backcourt with Cade is Kawhi Leonard's invincible guard. Between him and Andre Kirilenko, I think the gap between those two are so small. Like, it's just so small. The gap between AK, the gap between Kawhi, it's just so small. So I'd probably play them both half the game. I'm more green with Kawhi Leonard. AK obviously has the cheesier release. Defensively, they're both absolutely fantastic. Kawhi has his own defensive stance. I'm more green with him. AK is just a little bit longer. It's just tough when you're comparing Andre Kirilenko to Kawhi Leonard. They're both absolutely fantastic players, and I don't think you can go wrong either way. Not the small forward position. Here's where things get interesting. If I'm on next gen, there is no question about it. I'm plugging in Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, on current gen, I do not green with this Giannis very much. So the cards I'm looking at for current gen wise are these three. Danny Ferry. Again, base 98. If I was consistent with it, there'd be no question that's who I would start. Another guy, the GOAT Braun at small forward. Or if you want to plug in the Space Jam Braun, that's fine. But I'd prefer the GOAT Braun even with steady. If we're talking about both gens, obviously GOAT Braun is another card to consider with the XM base. Now, the last card, hear me out, for current gen is Thon Maker. Look, I know he's a little bit outdated. I know he's only got 47 Hall of Famers, but he's got base 47. I can green consistently with him, and I'm not sold on the fact that I would not run Thon Maker. But for me, the guy that I probably would run right now in a competitive setting is this guy right here. GOAT LeBron James. And it's really for his defense more than anything. I mean, I'm not even going to sit here and say he's going to be perfect from the three-point line because I'll probably miss some shots. But defensively, he's going to be absolutely immaculate. All 99, everything. Has obviously every badge in the game, every tendency you could ask for. And that's why I think GOAT Brown at the small forward position is absolutely incredible. Now, if you wanted to run Brown at point guard, Cade at shooting guard, Kawhi at small forward, you could do that as well. You could mix some things up. But GOAT Brown is definitely a guy that I want to add at that small forward position. At the power forward position for me, I'm going to go with this guy right here, an Invincible Kristaps Porzingis. At first, I didn't think there was a big gap between Kareem, Porzingis, and a guy like Embiid, Mobley, those types of cards. But I think Kareem and Porzingis are up here, and then Embiid's a step below. That's my personal opinion at that power forward position. I love Kareem, I love Kareem, and then I love Porzingis and Bobo. I love Bobo's type base, which is, I think, the Brook Lopez base, the Karl Malone upper. It is just absolutely so smooth. With Porzingis, with Bobo, I green a ton of shots. Now, is there a big difference between this Porzingis and the other Porzingis? There's a little difference. For the majority of the community, you guys aren't probably going to notice it. But like I said, this is the best overall squad possible. So, I mean, I can't make this video and not include Kristaps Porzingis. That just would not make sense with how good he is. Remember, The dude's 7'3". I still wish we would have got like a shooting guard, small forward, Kristaps Porzingis. That card would have been absolutely fantastic like we did last year. It is what it is. I guess I'll settle for the Invincible. All 99 everything KP. Last but not least, at the backup center position, Yao Ming is the guy we are going to plug in. Again, a lot of people do like running Yao at that power forward position. For me, I just can't. I can't run Yao and Taco together. It just doesn't work for me like it should. If you guys want to make the case that he's better than Taco Fall, that's fine with me. It really is personal preference at that point. So that's who I am going to add. So this is my top 10. If I had 10 players to go out there with, this would be my top 10. Now, if I had to add some more players, like I'm going to add the end of the bench, these are the players that come to my mind right away. Now, the first player that comes to my mind is this guy right here. We got to add Simbular, grinched up, badged out Simbular to the squad, because here's the thing. After Yao, after Taco, we need another center that I can trust. And Simbular is that guy. I think he's a guy that I can plug in there, that I don't feel like I lose a lot between Taco and Yao and Sim. I don't think I lose that much. The second guy is Danny Ferry. For the reasons I've mentioned before, base 98 at the small forward position. If I wasn't so like, I don't want to call myself a head case, but if I was not a head case with Danny Ferry, I would be fine. I would be absolutely fine running the card. And it's just the way it is. I'm just a head case with base 98 with Danny Ferry. When something doesn't go right, it just gets in my head rent free. Now, the third guy I'm going to add might come as a surprise to you guys. It's going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo, but it's going to be the point guard Giannis. And here's the reason why. If I'm on defense and I need one stop, the guy I want at my point guard position is Giannis Antetokounmpo if I'm on current gen. I want him, his defensive player built on the court if I do need a stop. And so if I'm playing for the most amount of money possible, I want him on my squad. Again, or if Cade Cunningham goes cold, Giannis is a guy I can throw in there and trust, 5 outing with whatever, being that primary ball handler with. He's actually a card that I ran for quite a while. It was him and Ben Simmons were my 2 point guards for a while on my, I don't want to call my all money spent account, but on my not no money spent account on my Xbox account, Giannis and Ben Simmons, the other Ben, were my point guards for a long time. So if I was to play in the $250,000 MyTeam tournament today, these are the top 13 cards that I would be using. Again, this is just my personal list. If you guys have somebody that I left off this list, leave it down below in the comments, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that are upset that I didn't include the Invincible Giannis, some other cards, but let me know that all down below in the comments. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, guys. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.